So, I am sitting on the floor of a hotel room looking like a Victorian sick child in my morph suit. Do you want to see my morph suit? Okay, I'll show you. What do you think? It's my merino wool long johns onesie. Well, not a onesie because it's a top and leggings, but it keeps me warm at night, okay? And I don't have anything else because I'm already here, so I'm using my hiking clothes already. I'm staying in Taunton for the night before I go to Minehead in the morning and start the Southwest Coastal Path. I'm nervous, I'm excited. So the Southwest Coastal Path is basically what it says on the tin. It's a coastal path in the southwest of the UK. It's 630 miles long. It goes through 2 World Heritage sites and it's actually the longest waymarked trail in the UK. It starts at Minehead, which is in Exmoor. It goes through North Devon, North Cornwall, West Cornwall, so right round the very corner of the tippity tip on the left hand side of the UK, past Penzance, the Lizard, and then back round again. It goes through South Cornwall and South Devon and finishes at the end of the Jurassic Coast, which is going to be absolutely beautiful. The Jurassic Coast is somewhere that I've always wanted to see. I've never got around to seeing it, so that'll be the final stretch before finishing off at Southaven Point, which is at Poole Harbour. The walk actually originated as a patrol route for coast guards to walk from lighthouse to lighthouse to have a look over the coast for smugglers who were coming into the UK, so that's actually really cool. I have some expectations about this hike. I will let you know if and when I finish if those expectations were fulfilled, so we'll go through some of those now. From the information that I've read, I'm imagining this hike to have lots and lots of little climbs in a sense. I'm not imagining anything too grueling and steep, but constantly up and down, up and down. The total climb is over 114,000 feet, which is around about 4 times the height of Everest, but that's obviously between 630 miles that climb happens in total. So nothing massive, but I could be proven wrong. Let's have a look at that. But just to put it into perspective, when I was hiking the Appalachian Trail, as I'd reached mile marker 300, I'd already done a total climb of just over 81,000 feet. That's about 2.8 times the height of Everest. So in 300 feet, I'd already averaged more climbing on the Appalachian Trail than I will on this. I mean, I know it's not like, oh, you just double that and that's, I would have climbed more walking over that mileage on the Appalachian Trail. So yeah, in a way the Appalachian Trail was fairly similar in that it was lots and lots of climbs in a sense, but I am hoping that this one isn't going to be quite as grueling as a lot of the climbing and descending on the Appalachian Trail. Next expectation is, as I am going to be walking a coastal path with the sea always to my right hand side, I'm expecting for my left leg to get a pretty hard workout and for the right side of my face to get an absolute battering. I'm expecting coastal winds driving through onto the mainland. Apparently the wind coming over from the Atlantic can be pretty harsh, and that coupled with rain could be pretty miserable on some days, very challenging. I'm also wondering how challenging it's going to be to put up a tent and to, you know, sleep at night, wild camp. I'm going to have to see how feasible that actually is, but I'm going to wild camp as much as possible because really I'm going to be balling on a budget on this hike. I do not have tons and tons of money saved up. I'm gonna go into this as frugally, is that a word, as possible. Like I said before earlier in the video, I am going to be hiking in quite a major beauty spot in the UK, and I'm going to be hiking towards the end of the school summer holidays, so I'm imagining that there is going to be a lot more people around on the trail than I'm used to. I'm wondering if there's going to be more litter and people that aren't adhering to leave no trace, because it's generally people who aren't majorly outdoorsy who tend to be attracted to beauty spot areas, and in a really paradoxical way. It's so strange. And areas that are quite accessible tend to attract people that aren't hugely outdoorsy, and so they don't adhere to much to leave no trace. So that'll be interesting to see if there is a lot more litter and debris around. But yeah, I'm hoping as I come towards the end of the school summer holidays and the kids go back to school, it will start to be less populated on the trail, and I'll have some sections where I'm not overcrowded with people. Again, it could be a completely incorrect assumption. There could be places that I don't see people for miles and miles and miles. So this is just one of my expectations, and we'll see whether it's proven or disproven. I am typically used to hiking in a bit more of a wild environment, nothing too extreme yet, but I'm used to maybe being days without being able to get any resupply, or not having water accessible to me, so having to take water directly from source. I'm interested to see when I get on trail how available food is to me. I've packed my food as normal at the moment. I mean, it does look like I pass through a lot of places, but I also just like to get a feel for something before I just assume. So I'm interested in the first week how much I end up technically needing the food that I've packed, and I'm gonna adjust accordingly to that. So it might be that I have a luxury of a fairly light pack, because I can always get them Tesco meal deals, you know what I'm saying? I'm expecting this trail to be very well waymarked. I'm expecting to not really have to use any navigation whatsoever. I have uploaded a map that one of the local rambling clubs that I will link to in the description has kindly uploaded online, and then you add that map to an app called maps.me, and then it reads your GPS location alongside that map. But I'm not sure how much I will actually need that, so that will be interesting to see. This will actually be the first trail that I've been on that I haven't been able to use the Guthooks app, because it's not on Guthooks yet, and this whole appy phony stuff sounds so millennial, but if the technology's there, I'm going to enjoy it, okay? And then I'm going to have some mashed avocado on toast. I'm expecting this to be quite a managed trail and quite an accessible trail to the general public. The Southwest Coastal Path Association did tell me that they have 9 million people a year visit this trail, which is wild, and that, you know, that's general visitors, so day hikers do a few miles here and there, or through hikers. So I'm imagining that it's going to be quite an accessible pathway, and nothing overly technical. I could again be proven wrong, but that's just what my mind's eye is telling me. I've brought trail runners for the occasion, so, and I always prefer trail runners anyway, because they dry out quicker and they're lighter on my feet, less cumbersome, I can feel the ground better, but I'm hoping there ain't no sections that I would need boots. Oh, itchy nose, I've got hay fever like crazy at the moment. Lastly, I am expecting quintessential Englishness. I'm expecting picturesque towns, I'm expecting harbours, beaches, surfing, fish and chips, colourful houses. This could be wildly optimistic, but I am hoping, especially given my budget, that I can finish this hike at all. But if I do finish it, I'm hoping that I can finish it within 35 days. Now that's an average of 18 miles per day. I realise at the beginning I'm probably not going to be getting my miles super high, but I can maybe make that up later on. It may be that of course, the entire thing takes me slightly longer than 35 days because I'll need to incorporate rest days into that as well. So I may finish a little longer after that, but I'm hoping that my total walking time will be 35 days, which is definitely doable, but it's going to be some hard work. I think a major contributor that could really help me out with that is if I really am passing through civilization so often that I don't have to stack my pack up with loads and loads of heavy food and water. However, at this time of year, I am constantly losing sunlight because we've had the longest day of the year. The days are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter at the moment. The sun rises around 5:45 in the morning currently, and I would be hoping to get out of camp 7 AM to 7:30, which is probably late for a lot of people, but my history of getting out of camp early is absolutely shocking. I'm awful at getting out of camp early. So let's just put that there. If I can get out of camp at 7 AM to 7:30, that gives me a solid, if I finish at 6 PM, 7 PM, a solid 11 to 12 hours a day of hiking, which is really good still, because I can probably average about 2 to 2.5 miles an hour, factoring in breaks with that. I could maybe be a bit quicker than 2.5 sometimes, maybe 3 miles per hour. But yeah, once I've factored in my breaks, that seems pretty reasonable to average that out to like 2.5. So yeah, it's going to be really important that I can try and get out there as early as possible and not be lazy and sleep in or be super slow in the morning. It's not usually that I'm sleeping in, but it's that I just take my sweet time getting everything together and sipping my coffee. So yeah, I hope I have been, fairly informative with this. It's a bit of a quick fire one for you, bit of a like, this is the announcement. I am doing another hike. I'm excited, I'm very nervous. I feel a bit apprehensive this time because, I don't know, maybe because I've been, well, everyone has, it's been so isolating and strange that I'm suddenly back into civilization, and it just feels a bit odd, and maybe I've lost some confidence in my capabilities, but every day being an achievement and doing miles and getting through tough times is going to really make me realise that I do have the capabilities. So fingers crossed that I can do it. I'm gonna pump out the videos to show you all what it's like and talk to you all as I go. If you have any questions, let me know. If I've missed anything, let me know. If you've done it, let me know. If you have any sections to warn me about, let me know. Anything at all, just drop me a comment. And I'm excited for you all to follow me. I will be, of course, delaying this content, so I won't be where you think I am when you think I'm there, because that's dangerous. It's a little bit different for me this time in 2 ways. So I have not had the privilege before of having anyone near me that could help me out when I've been on a hike. So if I was in America and I didn't have, of course, family over there, a completely different country. And then I was in Scotland, and then I was going through the Lake District, underneath Newcastle, etc. So I haven't had anyone nearby who could help me out with things. So everything I've had to do it completely alone before, with no sort of backup. But this time I actually have some family in Cornwall, so they can stop by and meet me for an afternoon and have a drink or something to eat with me, or I can go have a zero at theirs, or they can post me out things. So it's going to be really refreshing sort of having that support system nearby. It's going to actually feel quite bizarre because I'm used to sort of being out there and a bit on a limb, and if something happened I have to sort myself out, which is fine, but it's just going to be odd to have that there for me. And secondly, I now have a boo, and I'm gonna miss my boo. He would hate that. It's disgusting. But yeah, I'm gonna really miss him. So that's a real challenge in itself. I haven't had someone to leave behind before when I've done these. So I've got to kind of keep focused, and it's nice to miss someone, but it's gonna feel different.